Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this session about the course options in law. Listening to some of our current students about their experience, and then after they've spoken, you will have time to put forward your questions to them individually or together. The students on this session will be talking about their own experiences and perceptions of their courses. They will not be representing the views of all students, nor the courses themselves. And remember that everyone's experiences will of course be different. So the purpose of this session is to give you further information to help you choose your outside or optional courses. It is important that you make this decision this week so that you can confirm it with your school and start your courses from next week. If you haven't already, you should go onto the Course Options Hub, which is a website following that link there, which I'll put into the chat box after I've spoken. But this is where you'll find all of the course information, the content and the structure on PATH and DRPS, and you'll also work out how it will fit in your timetable using the course timetable browser tool. You should aim to have at least 3 different choices on courses so that when you do speak to your school, you have more options in case the courses are full or if they just don't fit into your program. Also within the Course Options Hub, we have over 80 5-minute videos from lots of different academics from across all subject areas who are introducing you to their course. And these videos are really insightful because you'll get a feel for the course itself, but also the person who will be teaching it. Some academics have also offered to hold virtual Q&A or office hours during Welcome Week as well. And this is where you can join them and ask them any specific questions you want about that course and how it's taught. To be able to find where all these are, if you go into the Events app and find the Course Options menu under the Welcome Activities, and then search for anything that starts with Chat to an Academic, and you'll be able to see all the courses that the academics are open this week. So after you've explored the website and used the tools, watched the videos, maybe gone to a couple of these sessions, you will then have to confirm your choices. The deadline to choose your outside or optional course is the end of week 2, which is the 2nd of October. Unfortunately, in this session, we cannot give you any further advice about how you confirm your choices, as it is different between every single school. And your school should be giving you information and instructions about how to do this, either in advance of this week or during this week as part of your school induction activities or emails, or maybe it's on your MyEd. So if you have not heard from them or have not got instructions about how you'll be choosing your courses, please do get in touch with them immediately because it's important that you get this sorted this week. So this session is covering law as a subject, but it may not cover all the courses available under this subject grouping. But hopefully our panel today represents some of the courses that you might be interested in, or you may even find out something that you hadn't even considered yet. If there are other courses you're interested in that our panel are not able to represent, you will be able to find more information on PATH and through the academic videos on the Course Options Hub. But that is enough of me speaking. I'm now delighted to hand over to our current students, Clementine and Paige, who are going to talk about their experiences of their courses. After they've all spoken, as I've said, we'll open up the chat text area for questions. Please do not raise your hand or type into the chat box while they are speaking, and we'll take them afterwards. So thank you very much, and over to you, Clementine. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Clementine. Welcome to the University of Edinburgh. Basically, a little bit about myself is I'm currently completing the Scots Law LLB at the University of Edinburgh. I just came back from my 3rd year, which I spent abroad in Sweden on Erasmus at Lund University, and I'm about to enter into my final year of law school. So my background is I was born in Edinburgh, but I grew up between Scotland and Australia, and I decided when I was 18 to permanently relocate back to the UK. And I knew I always wanted to study at the University of Edinburgh. It was always a big goal of mine. I didn't get to start studying though until I was 21. And yeah, and I'm so glad I ended up at Edinburgh. I think Scots law is a great mix of the common tradition and the civilian legal tradition. So it really is a great jurisdiction to study. So basically my interests for law are international law. I love international law. It probably comes from my background, being from Australia and Scotland and Britain, I guess. And yeah, I have a big interest in private international law. I'd love to do something with that in my career. For my dissertation this year, I'll hopefully be doing international investment law or international environmental law. We'll see what happens. They haven't given us our choices yet. But yeah, and I'll also be studying intellectual property law, which I saw a few people on the comments had said that they were studying. So hello. And also commercial law. So outside of law, I'm kind of a typical 25-year-old. I love architecture, history, travel, coffee, yoga, that sort of thing. And yeah, in general, I'd say I'm an average student. I get A's and I get D's. And I think it's important to kind of highlight that because law is hard and it's not unusual for people to do really well and also to do quite poorly. It's a tough area of academia, and I think there's a stigma that everyone who does law is super smart and intelligent. I'm not smart. I work really hard. Sometimes I don't, hence the D's. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because as we'll talk about in this presentation, law can be quite difficult, and you really have to consider that when selecting courses in law and the kind of work that you take on. So yes, so law courses. So in the ordinary years, as I said, I'm doing a pure LLB in Scots law, so I had to take a lot of mandatory courses. And basically there wasn't a lot of room for electives, so I just took old law courses. So I'll go from first year to second year. I haven't included third year because I was at a different university, so hence why it's just first and second ordinary courses. So in the first year I did Scottish Legal Systems, which is basically covers Scottish legal systems in a kind of, you know, the institutions in Scotland as well as in England too. And it's a great introduction to law. So if you're interested in law but don't know where to start, I would really recommend this course. I will say though, a lot of these courses you'll probably be doing if you are studying a law degree, an LLB law degree, that is. Next is contract and unjustified enrichment. Sorry, I missed out unjustified enrichment on the slide. But basically, this covers basic contract law, really good course, a great introduction as well. Family law, so very self-explanatory. Family matters that relate to like divorce, child-related matters, really interesting. I think Katie McFarlane might be leading this course, and she's great. I really enjoy her lectures, and she's very engaging. European Union law, of course, this is kind of a weird topic because we're leaving the EU, but still very relevant, and actually I love this course. So it makes the EU make a lot more sense. So if you have an interest in general in just the EU, but maybe not in law, I think this is a good one to take. Public law of the UK and Scotland, so basically constitutional law. We don't have a written constitution in Scotland, in the UK, sorry, or in Scotland. So this is great in terms of understanding the constitution. I gained a lot from this course, so I'd recommend this one. Critical legal thinking, so how to write a valid argument basically and using logic. So yeah, really useful actually. Civil law, so I love civil law. It's a Marmite subject. It's a 4-year course and it was one of my electives. So I only had 2 electives, as you can see, in my first and second year. So yeah, so basically it covers legal history, focusing on Roman law, its development throughout the Republic Empire, and monarchy, sorry, and how it had influenced the civilian legal tradition in Europe and also in Scotland. So it's really interesting because you wouldn't expect Scotland to have influence from Rome, but we do have a lot of influence in our legal system. So the second year was jurisprudence, so basically philosophy of law, dialect, which covers tort. It's the same kind of concept. The English word is tort, which is a more common term, but we call it dialect in Scotland. Really interesting, really tough course though. You have to learn, I think in my year, a girl counted over 200 cases that we had to learn for the exam. So a lot of work. Criminal law, which is probably one of the more popular courses, especially if you're not studying law but are interested in law topics. Really great course, really covers actus reus, mens rea of key crimes and some defences. Public law and individual rights, which is constitutional / administrative law meets human rights. So really looks at the European Convention of Human Rights and how that is applicable to public concerns like institutions. Really great course if you're interested in politics. Business entities, so it's pretty much just about various models of businesses like partnerships and companies. Evidence, different types of evidence and procedure in Scots law, commercial law, a combination of different areas of law which are relevant to the commercial field. Really tough course, but so I wouldn't recommend it to people who are, just delving into law for the first time, but still really interesting. Trust and succession, pretty self-explanatory. Property law, it's a 4-year course, and it's really quite interesting. And if you like the Roman aspect of Scots law and the influence from Rome and the history of the civilian tradition, then there's a bit of this and that. So I would recommend that. And international private law, which is my favourite, and it's an elective. But it's actually, I have to highlight that civil law and international private law are required if you want to be an advocate at some point in Scotland. So it's something that you would have to, sorry, I put a timer on. I'll try and wrap this up quite fast. Something that you'd have to consider. So as you can see, I only had a few electives, but I did quite a few law courses. So please ask questions. I can't really go into too much detail because there's quite a few of them, but yeah, let me know if you want any more details on it. Quickly, because I know I'm running out of time, assessment types. So there's formative assessments and summative assessments. Law courses are usually 100% exams. So from when I did it anyway, I know things will be changing this year, but these are just a few examples of different types of assessments. You can see there's mooting, legal essays, which are different to academic essays. I think you'll be able to access these slides afterwards, but let me know if you have any questions. And then pros and cons. So I know this is a bit of a weird list, but basically the most overriding pro is it's interesting and its relevance and application to everyday life. It's really great when you have that kind of understanding of how things work. And I think you can gain that from a lot of legal courses. The cons would be the assessment types. I found that really challenging with courses that had 100% exams. Workload, which can be really intense, and I think that's something you really have to consider when you're taking on a law course, is how much you're already doing, and would that be a burden to you to take on a law course with a high workload, and subject-specific challenges. So that kind of relates more to things that are done in law that aren't done in other areas of academia, for example, legal essays. So, or citing cases. If you're not used to doing that, then you have to give it a little bit of extra time. It's a tough thing to adjust to. I remember first and second year, I was constantly trying to, kind of make my legal essays better and use my cases in a better way. But you learn how to do it. It's easy once you, put the effort in and the time in, but you have to make sure you have the time to put into that. So just some quick tips on selecting electives, especially law electives. Consider your interests. There's no point in studying law for the sake of studying law. It can be really boring. I don't mean that to be harsh, but I think I love law. I find it really interesting, but I do find aspects of it boring. So just make sure that you are considering your interests. Research. Make sure you do your own research, because law changes all the time, especially when it comes to qualifying as a lawyer. So make sure that you are considering the mandatory requirements in the jurisdiction you want to go and practice in, if you want to practice. Like, for instance, if you want to be an advocate in Scotland, do that research on your own. Don't rely on other people, because people could, there's a lot of word of mouth and passing on it, and it changes a lot. Like, England's changing their qualification requirements next year. So it's good to look into that. Talk to your personal tutor. They're always there to help. They're very busy, but they're great. And talk to fellow students. I wrote this down because, as I said, people will say stuff and it might not be relevant to you, but students are a great way of passing on information. And do go to all your tutorials and contribute. Make sure you talk and do your work. Complete previous exam papers. This is my top tip for law subjects. With the 100% exams, you can literally find some of the answers for the exams on the past exams. So I would recommend doing it. Obviously, not all the time. It's not going to happen, but definitely something to look into. Join the mooting society. If you notice that you have to moot as part of an assessment, definitely join the mooting society and ask for help. I think it's really important, because people feel a little bit scared of asking for help from their personal tutor, or if they're struggling. I think going to the disability centre, if you feel like you're just not quite, able to complete the exams in time, or you feel there's something wrong, is so important. I'm dyslexic, so I didn't do it for the first year, and then I did get some help, and it really helped. And I know some other students who are in the same situation, so it's definitely something you should do. And don't leave all your lectures until the revision period. A lot of law students do this, and it's a bad idea. Buy all of your law textbooks. You really don't need to. The law library is great. Online resources are great. I know it's different this year, but just consider the books you buy, because they're really expensive, and people can be put off studying law because of that, which is a shame. And don't submit your assessments late, because you'll lose marks. I've done that many times, and it's not worth it. So yeah. I'll pass on to Paige now. Thank you.
Hi, so just a little bit about me. My name is Paige McGee. I study law LLB. I'm in my 4th year. I'm originally from Dundee, that's just an hour outside of Edinburgh, and I've lived in Edinburgh the past year, and my interests are fashion, socialising, and I think, like everyone else during lockdown, I've become a bit of a baker as well. And this year I'm hoping to do my dissertation in the mandatory life sentences in Scotland. So just a bit about why I chose Edinburgh. So I chose Edinburgh because of the city life. I always live in a bigger city, and Edinburgh was the best of both worlds because it wasn't too far from my hometown either. I like how Edinburgh, the student community at Edinburgh is very diverse as well, so you could become friends with people from all over the world, and I think it creates a really good atmosphere on campus. Another one, a thing that made me choose Edinburgh was because you learn from the best, so you're taught by leaders in the legal field and qualified solicitors, and I think that really helps you get a lot of different perspectives on legal issues. So for instance, like, qualified solicitors will provide you with an understanding of what the practical issues are, whilst field specialists provide you with theoretical problems, and together that gives you really great insight into legal issues. I think as well, another thing why I chose Edinburgh was because it offers a wide range of law courses. So this allows you more choice when you're studying when you're deciding which legal field most interests you, and courses are often not offered elsewhere. So I think there's a honours course called Robotics and the Law, and that's one of the courses that's only offered at Edinburgh. So that's another one. And of course, employability. It's a great university to go to, and it sets you up well for the future. So that's why I chose Edinburgh. So what I love about Edinburgh is there's always something that doesn't necessarily cost money anyway, so that's great for students. There's plenty of museums, art galleries, and you can go for a nice walk. So I would really love that. I think as well, another one is there's a lot of good Law Society activities planned. So this might be different this year, but usually there's like Law Ball, Law Mummies and Daddies, which is really good to get to know other law students that are maybe not in your classes and maybe in the year above or a year below. Yeah, it helps you become friends with lots of people. There's also a wide range of sports and societies, and there's pretty much something for everyone. I think there's even a chocolate lover society. So yeah, there really is everything. Of course, you've got things like the Meadows, Arthur's Seat, Portobello Beach, and Dean's Village. So yeah, again, just things that you could do outside of uni. And of course, the newly refurbished law library. I think it's much nicer than the main library. It's just more homely, and you've got all your law stuff there. So yeah, that's another thing that I love about Edinburgh. And so as Clementine was saying as well, in first and second year, I took all the ordinary courses that were required to qualify as a solicitor. So in the first year, I did contract and unjustified enrichment, critical legal thinking, European Union law, family law, public law of the UK and Scotland, and the Scottish legal system. And in first year, I originally started off doing joint degree. So my elective was French that year. I think Clementine really explained these well, so I'll probably just leave it at that. Probably interesting, so of like um kind of go with that choices. So and in second year as well, I did the ordinary courses which are required to qualify as a solicitor. So that's business entities, commercial law, criminal law, delict, evidence, jurisprudence, property law, public law, right law, and trust. And then the law was really of more and get really interesting dates from this. And third year, I studied advanced legal writing course, so this is mandatory in your third year, and this kind of carries on from critical legal thinking and jurisprudence, so it's kind of a mix of both. It's about logic and theory of law and kind of philosophy of law and how to make your arguments well. And this is really helpful for writing your dissertation and how to write a case. Honours, honours, again, stressing and lots of debates and things. And then in fourth year, criminal law, law, and I think my sound's maybe coming and going. I'll try and fix that. 2 seconds. I think that should maybe be better now for my sound. Yeah, okay. I think my sound's fixed now, so I'll carry on. So what I enjoyed the most was attending tutorials and seminars, preferred the small group format, thoughts and different, and allowing you to get to know your course mates better. I also enjoyed ordinary courses in second year because you had a basic understanding of the legal fields, and these courses also gave you an opportunity to study what kind of law that you prefer to study, and it helped you in shape what sort of law you hope to be one day. I really enjoyed my seminars last year, and I'm looking at it again this year just because it's an opportunity to get to know people that you may not have got to know before, and often people in your seminars are really similar interests to yourself. So again, it's a way of meeting people that are kind of like-minded. And again, I enjoyed the contrast between the ordinary and the honours courses. At ordinary level, you learn what the law is, and at honours level, you get to think more about should the law be the way it is, or should it change? And this was a really good change after 2 years, and it helps you start to kind of change thinking. So yeah, that's what I enjoyed. I think what I found most challenging, probably getting the self-directed study at university and helping keep myself motivated, is the worry about quickly getting to the swing of things. But I found that challenging in my first year. Ensuring what I found challenging as well was ensuring I completed my work on time and to a high standard, alongside other commitments. Again, that you get into the swing of, sorry about that. And in second year, I found the goal of my coursework, just because courses to complete, I found this really difficult, and having time to complete your weekly reading, preparing for tutorials and handling coursework, I found that quite difficult, but again, it's something that I managed to do. I did some general Walsh So I would say keep on top of your reading and your tutorial work from week 1, because I feel like once you start falling behind on reading, it can often become a snowball effect. But yeah, I would prioritise your reading list and just keep on top of it. I would say actively participate in tutorials, because you get the most out of it by participating and contributing to the tutorial. I would say your statue books well in advance before they sell out, because you need these for the exam, and they can often sell out, so it's important you get in quickly and buy them in plenty of time. I would say the MedalShare is a useful resource. It's just a Facebook page. It's great just advice about all things Edinburgh, and a lot of advice, any help that you need. So I would say that resource just to be added into. I would say take photos of your flat when you move in, because this helps you get your deposit back, and I would say that's quite important. Just for being a student. And I would say lastly, don't stress too much, because everyone's been in this boat and we've all managed it, so you'll manage it too. That's me finished now, so I'll pass you back over to Leslie.
Thank you, Paige, and thank you